Hello and welcome to Tech Latest by Nikkei Asia, where we bring you the freshest updates from the technology sector in Asia. Every episode, one of our reporters from the region will be filling us in on the tech news on their radar, from semiconductors in China to space travel in Japan to startups in Indonesia. From Nikkei Asia's Tokyo headquarters, I'm Alice French. In this episode, I'm talking to Sissy Zhao, our senior business news correspondent based in Hong Kong, about how Walmart is beating Amazon in the battle for online consumers in India. Hi, Sissy. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast today. So we ran a really fascinating feature last week about a perhaps unlikely rivalry that's emerged in India's e-commerce industry. Who are the main players involved and what's going on? Can you just tell us a bit about it?
So let me introduce the context a little bit first. The story is about Walmart beating Amazon in the battle for online consumers in India. To be honest, I was actually a little bit surprised by the story myself, because my impression is that Walmart is more about groceries, while Amazon offers a more diversified selection of goods.
Right. Yeah, I was pretty surprised reading it too. It's a great piece by our reporter in Bengaluru, Shayan Chakravorty. And as you said, I'm sure many listeners' images of Walmart will be as a kind of budget American grocery store. So how long has the company been in India then? And has it always been a smooth ride over there?
So Walmart broke into the Indian market in 2018 after spending $16 billion US, buying a 77% stake in a local online retailer whose name is Flipkart. And interestingly, Flipkart was actually founded by former Amazon employees. At that time, the acquisition actually generated some concerns from analysts because on the one hand, Flipkart had been losing money, and it was widely agreed that Walmart overpaid for the deal. Indians regulators were not that friendly to e-commerce players at that time either, and they were deemed to be more dedicated to protecting traditional retailers.
Right, so it sounds like it was a bit of a rocky start in India, but it looks like Walmart's gamble was worth it, right?
Yes, because in the following years, it turned out to be that Walmart managed to be able to get value for their money. Flipkart's valuation had been up since then and swelled to $38 billion in 2021 after raising funds from Walmart, SoftBank, and Singapore's GIC, etc. And because of the Flipkart deal, Walmart is now regarded as an industry leader in India. As you may know, Amazon is quite popular with wealthy urban Indians on the back of its Prime subscription. But it lags behind Flipkart in terms of mobile phones, fashion, and electronics. And those items accounted for about 70% of the Indian online retail market, which is quite substantial. So in other words, Flipkart has established a niche in smaller towns and cities with a wide range of inexpensive goods. As a result, last year, Flipkart's market share in India was around 48%, and Amazon's was like 26%, according to research firm RedShare Strategy. And that report also shows that Flipkart has been growing more quickly than Amazon in India. For example, last year, Flipkart's gross sales rose 23% year on year, but Amazon's rose only around 10%. And also in 2021, Flipkart's gross sales rose 40% year on year, while Amazon's only rose about 26%.
Wow, so Flipkart is really out there in front then. It's pretty impressive. But as we've mentioned, both Amazon and Walmart are sort of iconic American companies. Why is it that India has become such a key battleground for them?
As you know, India is one of the world's last great growth markets, and the country's e-commerce sales are expected to triple to $135 billion from 2020 to 2025. On the other hand, both Walmart and Amazon are facing strong local competitions in other fast-growing Asian markets. For example, Shopee and Lazada of Singapore and Tokopedia and Blibli of Indonesia, right? In terms of China, which is a different story, it's extremely difficult to break into China because China's Alibaba, JD.com, and Pinduoduo, they have already dominated the e-commerce market for years. And Amazon's efforts in China have been a complete failure, actually, because Amazon had closed down its marketplace in China in 2019, and they even closed its Kindle service in China.
So if Amazon's not doing well in China, then they must be really wanting to get back on the horse in India, right? But is there any chance that they're going to make a comeback? And how have they responded to this situation, this competition with Walmart so far?
Actually, there have been concerns over Amazon's commitment to India because Amazon didn't mention earnings in India in its earnings report in April. And that was for the first time in 5 years. And in contrast, Walmart has been pledging to stay the course in India, actually. And in terms of response, Amazon sent us a statement for the story. And in the statement, they said that the data about Amazon in the Red Sea report is not correct, but they didn't disclose its estimated market share in India either. We also reached out to Flipkart, but they declined to comment on its market share and sales growth.
Interesting. So it sounds like the rivalry is definitely set to continue and we'll have to follow it as it plays out. Thanks so much for going over that story with us, Sissy. Do you have any other tech-related stories that you'd like to recommend to our listeners this week?
I'd like to recommend our weekend scoop, which is about Samsung to build a chip development facility in Yokohama, Japan. The new facility will cost over 30 billion Japanese yen, and Samsung is expected to receive subsidies of more than 10 billion yen from the Japanese government for semiconductor investment. You can find more details in our website.
That's all for this week. You can read more of Sissy's reporting, along with a host of other stories about Asia's tech industry, on Nikkei Asia's website, asia.nikkei.com. And if you like what you hear, why not subscribe to our weekly Tech Asia newsletter, which will be delivered to your inbox every Thursday. There's a link in the show notes to sign up. And check back in next time for more updates on the tech trends that matter.